Welcome everybody to a starting series called How to Minecraft, where I share as much of my knowledge of Minecraft to you guys on how to start Minecraft and the way I do Minecraft. First things first, when you guys open Minecraft, the first thing you're gonna see is this page right here. And the first thing you wanna do is hit options. So what's very important here is that you change your video settings or whatever. If you were to load in normally, you'd have your FOV set to normal and everything else would be very different. But I will teach you guys how to get good FPS for those low-end PCs. And if you have a high-end PC or a decent PC, then you don't really need to do any of this. You can just keep it normal and you can move on. The only thing you do need to change is your FOV depending on how you want to see the game. Let's say everyone starts off as normal. So the first thing you want to do to get this good FPS for low-end PCs is you go to the video settings and you have all of these settings right here. This is normal Minecraft settings where you would be when you start up a Minecraft, the first time you start up Minecraft with its original thing without any mods, without any optimization mods. It's just Minecraft. So you can change the settings here. So first things first is your full screen resolution. Whatever screen size you have, you put that on here. There's a bunch of different. You could have it as the lowest one, and you can have your current, which is mostly what you're supposed to have. So I just have it at 920 by 1080, and that's my current. Biome blend. So what biome blend does is that it makes the world more smooth, or I would say where each biome of Minecraft, when you go to a biome, for example, swamp biome and a plains biome, when you were to look at the part where it switches to the next biome, it will make it blend more seamlessly and make the game look more beautiful. But I don't think this one does so much about your FPS, but we'll just leave it on for off so you could get it. You could get the best FPS you could get. Next thing you have is graphics. This one is mostly an important one when it comes to your FPS, especially when it comes to trying to have a nice looking. This is basically where it bridges from bad looking to good looking. So you have fast, fancy, and fabulous. And fabulous makes it, you're gonna lag very hard if you don't have a good PC. I've had experience. I had a very trash laptop back then. So I will always set the graphics to fast because this is the fastest thing you can get. It gives you, doesn't make your game look nice, but you do get a lot of FPS. Next thing you want to do is your render distance, and this is really important, especially when playing on either a single player or a multiplayer server. Because when it comes to single player, I would recommend just going. Normally, you would be set to 8. If I remember, you'll be set to 8 as the normal Minecraft, or 12. But I would say if you're gonna go, this really depends on how strong your PC is. Back then, I used to always put it to 5 and 8 just because my PC couldn't handle everything. And now after I built my PC, I just set it to 32. I would recommend 8, 5. 2 is at this point 2 is not even playable. It's really hard to know where you're going. So I would set it to 5 or 8, and if it's fine, you could set it to 12, but mostly I'd say 8. Simulation distance is basically how many chunks an entity would be able to do whatever it does. So if I were to set this in 32 chunks, that means any entity moving 32 chunks away from me is able to move 32 from 32 chunks. But of course, again, it's lag. Normally, no one really cares about this. I would always keep it at 5, but I just normally leave it the way it is if it's ever put in. But if I'm lagging a little bit, I just put it to 5 so that at least whatever's in my area, it will just move. So I recommend keeping it to 5. Next one is chunk builder. So I used to put it always to threaded, but I don't know why it's put to fully blocking. I just got in the game and it said fully blocking, so I'm not really sure how to do this one. I would just keep it threaded normally. Threaded is just a nice thing to keep it alright. Smooth lighting. So smooth lighting is it's a very interesting thing because smooth lighting really shows the impact of light in your game. So for example, if I were to place a torch down and you have this set to off, it would give you more FPS, but then your game light would look so blocky. It's like each light source has its own block. So that's what smooth lighting does. If you turn it on, it will just look like seamless light coming from somewhere, coming from like a light source. So since we're talking about FPS, we'll keep it off. Max frame rate, some people like to set their max frame rate and keep it as at a cap, but I just say to keep it at unlimited so that you could get unlimited FPS or can get the max frames as possible. Next is always turning VSync off. Normally what VSync does is VSync mostly just uses the CPU, I think. I don't know what I completely forgot what it does, but all I know is turn this thing off. It puts your FPS really high. Next one is reduce FPS when AFK. This is a new thing they added to 1.21, and I haven't been playing so much 1.21 because I've been stuck in 1.20.1 for a long time modding. But in this case scenario, you have reduce FPS when AFK. It basically just keeps the FPS lower when you're AFK to reserve power, I believe. So I mean, it's alright. You can keep this. You can keep this how it is if you want to. Let's keep it AFK. GUI scale is not. It doesn't really do anything. It just, yeah, it does that. So the higher it is, the larger it is, the larger your thing becomes. So this is just a preference. Since I have at 1920 by 1080, I keep it at 2 because I prefer GUI scale 2. Your attack indicator is the thing in the middle. So it's either you're gonna see in the hotbar or it's the tiny sword that you're gonna see when you hit something. So it's gonna be that tiny sword that will be that's the attack indicator. Brightness, set it to bright. If you want to be dark, moody, I always say it to bright. Clouds, you can keep this off for because you don't want it being an entity or being rendered, so to get that max FPS. Full screen, I always say keep it on because if you have a full screen off, it kind of does some weird stuff. But I say mostly keep full screen on, unless you want to keep it smaller, then that's possible. So you have it's not as clear as you can see, but it does give you more FPS if it's tiny. But nobody really wants to keep it tiny, so just you know, just keep full screen on. Makes the game look nice. Another one we have is particles. So particles are basically really important to the game. It shows you the particles of the potion effects, especially since sometimes especially when you're playing games that involve potion particles, or for example, I play some Bed Wars. Particles are really important to me because I need to see if anyone's invisible. But since we're talking about FPS again, you can just keep it to minimal. Yeah, minimal is the smallest amount you can get, so you can keep it at minimal. It gives you like barely no particles, and yeah, it increases your FPS. Map levels doesn't really change anything. I wouldn't say it does change anything, but I would recommend keeping this to off just in case. I never really saw much of an FPS difference when it came to map levels, but back then I always keep it off. Entity distance. This is also important on visuals. So it would be default set to 100. But if you want to see an entity that's really far away, you keep it to 500, but that risks the fact that you have to render every single entity that is around you. So keeping this too low would save FPS, but then it would be very, very useless because you can barely see where the entities are. It's really hard to tell if they're if there's like a zombie near you and you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't see him coming. So it's just bad. I would say just keep it around the 75 to 100. That's fine. FOV effects and distortion effects are basically the type of effects you have. For example, when it comes to FOV effects, it's like when you start to sprint, you're gonna have this FOV effect that's gonna pop up, and you're gonna see that it does do some stuff when it comes to FOV. And also like speed, if you drink a speed potion, it will give you the effect of more FOV. Distortion effects is for nausea and all of these, but I would just say keep 100. Doesn't really affect your FPS at all. Glint speed and glint strength. This is the glint speed and glint strength are the settings used for example, when you have your armor that's enchanted. So your armor that is enchanted will have this the shininess of this. So if you put the glint speed to higher, it's gonna start flashing, giving you epilepsy. But of course, you don't really need that. Just keep it to 50. I'd say just keep this the same. Glint strength is how glowy the enchanting or thing looks like. So just keep it how it is. Menu background blur is, I believe, this thing. never seen this one before. But yeah, as you can see, the higher it is, the blurrier the background, the lower it is, the clearer the background. I don't really care about this one. This is a preference thing. View bobbing is basically when your character starts to move, and while your character is moving, its hand is bobbing up and down. So your character's hand is bobbing up and down, and you have your sort of realistic feel of walking. That's what view bobbing is. I have it set to off because I like focusing on where I'm going. It gives me more of less of a visual nausea, so I could be more precise in what I'm doing. But this is mostly, again, preference wise. It depends on you. So that's everything you need to know about having fast FPS on vanilla Minecraft, no optimizations. When you click done, it'll give you this loading screen, and that's how you're gonna be. Another thing that's important is your controls. Right here, these are kind of important controls. I believe when you start Minecraft for the first time, this should be turned on, auto jump. So again, it's a preference view. If you want to click W and you don't want to press spacebar, it will automatically jump on your own. So this is what you want. It doesn't matter. It's just a preference. I have it off so that I could, jump whenever I want to, and I don't have to, auto jump every single time. It gets annoying sometimes. Operator, item, stab. You don't really need to care about this one. Just keep it off. Sneak and sprint. So these two are kind of new to 1.19 or 20, I think. So sprint, or I don't remember when these two came in, but the toggle sprint is like the best thing you could get, because when it comes to toggle sprint or hold sprint, normally back then you don't have this, so you would either double click W to start sprinting or hold down the sprint button, which is in default control, to start sprinting. And if you release control at one point and you stop sprinting and you just click W, you're just gonna start walking. So what toggle sprint does, as the name says, it toggles sprint. So if you click control once, that's all you need to do, and you will always sprint. Even you click W, you stop walking, and you click W again, you will always be in the sprint motion. And I always have this on because I don't like walking. I always want to be on the move. Sneak is the same thing. Holding sneak is holding shift down, and I have it at hold because it's more useful than toggling it, especially when you do speed bridging and all of this. Just keep it at hold. Mouse settings, on the other hand, normally sensitivity would be up around 100. So this is, again, preference-wise, how you want your sensitivity. I always have it in the low side because I have more control over the player and it feels nice for me. But then again, it's you. It would feel different. Scroll sensitivity, also another. It really depends on you. That's it for the controls. Music and sounds. Normally, this would be set to 100%. But if some people finding annoying, I find it nostalgic, but then sometimes when I'm with friends and the music is loud, I just keep it off. Showing subtitles, this is also really important because it shows some subtitles on the right-hand view on the corner about where the sound is coming from. And I like having this on because if I play Minecraft without sound for any reason, I still have an idea on what sound's happening and where it's coming from. And this is really good for deaf people as well. Directional audio is when you turn this on, it just gives you a more immersive feel with your headphones. So wherever the sound's coming from, you will hear in your headphones. But that's about it for the controls. And I'm going to put my FOV back to 90 because I prefer 90. Alright, so since we got the settings down, now we're just going to hop into a single player world and show you my way of how to Minecraft. So when you create a new world, you're going to be loading in your new world, and the first things that's gonna happen is you're gonna spawn in this completely random area. So this area that you spawn in would be called the world's spawn point. So right here is the world spawn point over here. So what the world spawn point is basically the area where you will always be spawning to, or this area where you will always be, this is like your origin, this is your birthplace. So the moment you die anywhere without a spawn point or a bed, you will always be back over here in this spawn area. So first things first, the moment you log into a Minecraft server or single player world is the controls. So how to Minecraft, right? How do you move? So you have your W, A, S, and D keys. So these keys allow you to go forward, left, back, and right. So these controls are the basic movements of Minecraft, and as you can see, since I had toggle sprint on, if I click W, I'll have this FOV effects, or I start sprinting. And because we did some settings, my FPS is around 1000 because of those fast settings. So that's pretty nice. Alright, so basically W, A, S, and D keys are how you move around the world. Then next you have your mouse, where it's obvious you roam around, you look up, down, no matter. And then you have your sprint key, which would be in short, your sprint key would be control, but I have mine set to R. If now I'm not sprinting, if I walk and I hit my R key, I start sprinting again. And because it's toggle sprint, I don't have to click R again. So the thing what I do, so first that's basically the controls you need. So since we just went in, the first thing we need to do is find a tree. So in Minecraft, you have movement mechanics. So I'll give you a small movement mechanics. Spacebar is jumping. In Minecraft, if you were to run normally in a straight line without jumping, you would be in a decent speed. You would lose less hunger, and if you want to run faster, just hold spacebar, and you're gonna start. You just run faster, but with the cost of having your hunger bar go down. So what is the hunger bar and your hearts? Basically, your hunger bar and your hearts that are on the bottom hot bar that you have there are very important. So your hearts tell you how much hearts you have left, so how much you're gonna stay alive, if you know. And your hunger bar is basically your sprint and how long you can be able to sprint, jump, and it's also a very big factor on your regeneration when it comes to you taking damage. So for example, I have this delicious steak right here, right? So as you can see, my hunger is depleted so far. Let me take some damage. So because I took damage, it's not gonna regenerate because I don't have any more hunger. So unless I eat this steak, by holding right click, I start eating the steak. So when I eat the steak, that's when it starts regenerating my health. So and since I have full hunger bars, now I have replenished my sprint again. So now, first things first, when you get into a Minecraft world, we're gonna start punching down a tree. So before punching down a tree, I have a very small tip that I learned long time ago. If you are met with a tree supposed to say it's one of those very, very tall trees, I can't really find a good solution, so I'm trying to look for a tree right now. Like this tree, for example, right? It's a really tall tree, and if you were to mine from the bottom and stand under here, eventually it's going to be really hard to get the top one. So what I learned is you don't mine the bottom one, but you mine the middle one first. It's faster, and you can also once you finish mining the top one, you can use the bottom one as a standing point. So now you have at least one block of reach, so you can start mining the top part of the tree. So when you're mining a tree, especially when you're finished mining a tree, the leaves are going to be floating like this, be really weird. And mostly how the leaves start despawning in Minecraft is when, number one, all of the logs that they have is removed from the tree itself, and the tree is not connected to any other leaves. For example, here it's in the corner, so that will be fine. And what is it? Is it like this? These leaves are connected. So if we were to say remove all of these, and are to break down just the parts where it touches each leaf, eventually there's one here down here as well, and this one here, this and this one touches the leaves, all of these touch the leaves, and this one as well, and this one. So now it's not touching any leaves, and will now despawn, as you can see. all the leaves are fallen. So it will now despawn way more better, and it's not gonna leave weird leaves floating in the air. So you do save a lot of time. Not time, but it makes sure if you're that type of guy who's like, oh, I want to make this look so nice and beautiful, then this is the thing you should definitely do. So now since we have the logs, the first thing we're gonna do is open our inventory. So what is our inventory? So our inventory is, if you click the button E, you're going to be met with your inventory. So this little box of stuff is called the inventory. So in the inventory, what you can do is you could craft things here in the tiny crafting thing. Or if you're an OG and you know how crafting works, then basically you put your block in here and there will be recipes to create the blocks you need. This tiny book here, that's kind of useful for beginners. When you click this book, you'll be able to see your crafting recipes. So here we need a crafting table because this is the most important thing in the game. To get a crafting table, we need oak planks. It seems we need oak planks. So if you want to get, doesn't matter what type of oak planks, but basically the oak planks we need are just oak planks or planks, in general planks. So how do we get planks? Right here, there's one that says oak planks. So we click this button here and you can now click it and you're gonna get the amount of blocks. And the moment you put that block in your inventory, you will be granted new recipes. So that's, as you can see, there's a stick, oak pressure plate. A trick here in inventory is when you click, if you click this one by one, it will just keep giving you all of these and you can just spam click this. Or you can hold shift and click it once, it will drop all of your stacks into your inventory. And the same goes with if you, for example, if you just click it every single time, it will do this one by one. But if you hold shift and you click this once, it will give you every single recipe or block that has been outputted. Another thing that's interesting you could do if you want to spread things like what I did here, there are different types to do this. One way is you pick up the block with left click, then you hold down right click and you drag it along your whole thing. And what this is going to do is this is going to spread it with each block by one. And if you release, then it has finished doing that. If you want to collect all of these at once, you can basically double click on one block and it will return everything back. If you want to set everything here evenly across each other, you can pick it up with left click and then you hold left click and then you can get a even amounts of number across, whatever you want. So if I did this, it works. If I do this, it's gonna also spread it evenly and I can get even numbers or amounts in your inventory. It's kind of a neat little trick. Another thing you can do is drop things from the inventory. You can pick up anything you want. For example, this oak sapling, you can pick this up and just put it out of your inventory, just left click and you'll be able to drop it. Another way to drop an item is by clicking Q. And you will drop each one by one. Another useful thing that I did learn is if you have, for example, so many stacks and you just want to give it to someone, if you keep it's going to be sometimes a pain if you keep spamming Q. So the best way to just drop everything all at once is that you hold Control and then you click Q, which would drop all the stacks all at once. So it speeds up the process of dropping everything instead of going into your inventory and just handing them out like this. Another thing that I want to teach on here is that you can hold Shift and left click on whatever item you have in your inventory to automatically go into your hotbar. It will also work with armory items. If you have an armor here and you hold shift and left click onto it, it will be automatically equipped onto your armor slots. Same goes with the shield. So yeah, I could just hover over it, hold shift, left click, hold shift, left click, and it will always go instead of having to drag everything one by one. Same goes if you want to put items in a chest, it works as well. So now, since you have your oak planks, next thing you want to do, next thing you want to have in Minecraft are tools. So to make a tool, first of all, you need a crafting table. So we're going to do this once. You can either click this button, or if you want to be people who want to craft itself, you can hold down your right click and just put it in the way it's supposed to be crafted. click it, or if you could shift click it from here. It will just automatically come on your hotbar. So next thing you want to do is find stone, because this is how I play it. I always look for stone first before making anything, so that I don't waste time. Even though I wasted so much time talking, but it's no problem. So we're gonna go around finding stone. Like for example, here I found stone. So I'll put my crafting table down. Now to get into your crafting table, you have to right click on your crafting table. So you right click it and you're gonna have now a bigger 3x3, and you have your books, and it shows you all the new recipes you can craft inside your 3x3. So these are the ones we need to make. And to make all of this, you have to basically craft it this way. So I would get a stick, or if you want, just do this. If you want to go over it multiple times, you can do this. I always prefer to have 3 of these, and I hold shift and I click and I get 12 sticks. And from here, I could craft. I always grab myself the wooden pickaxe every single time, because that's the most important thing you have. If you want, you can get the sword, shovel, stick, or axe, but I wouldn't say that's necessary. The most important thing you need to get in the first game is a pickaxe. Next thing you do, you start to mine the stone. So to mine stone, you hold down left click and you can start mining stone. Like what we did with the tree, but stone. I will always get 3 cobblestones, and after getting 3 cobblestones, I right click and I make myself a stone pickaxe. The moment I make a stone pickaxe, right? The moment I make a stone pickaxe, I don't need this wooden pickaxe anymore, and I can throw this away. And then I use this new stone pickaxe to mine stone a little bit faster than normal. So I get more stone, more things. And as you can see here, we ran up to some coal. So coal is also very important to starting the game. You need coal, so you grab coal yourself so that you could get some fuel. So what coal is used for burning things up inside a furnace. So what is a furnace used for? So a furnace is used for cooking things or smelting ores, for example. But since we have cobblestone, we have 12 cobblestone, and now since we have cobblestone, we can see how to make. We can make a furnace. If you want to search it up, you can type the name. Or you can just scroll through and you'll find it right here. Click the furnace, you get 1 furnace, and generally speaking, 1 furnace could be enough. But then if you do want to speed the game up and you want to be able to smelt things a little bit faster, I would just say grab 2 furnaces. It's fine. 2 furnaces is pretty useful. You don't know how useful it is, but it's pretty useful to have 2 furnaces. But most important, you want coal. So then after that, you can start making the rest of your items. If you want to, you could make a stone. You could make all your stone tools, because stone tools are pretty good to have in the beginning. Oh yeah, another thing. Just a quick tip right here. When you start sprinting and you're in a too high area. When you sprint normally, it goes this fast, but if you want to go even faster, while you're inside your too high area, you can spam spacebar and you go way faster. But then that also means your hunger goes down just as fast as well. So now that we have finished gathering some stone, what I would normally do is I would put 2 sticks right here. I would make these 3 and put 1 there as well. Since we already have a pickaxe, I just do this. And then I just hold shift and I left click, and it just makes my stone axe and my stone shovel. So the stone axe is useful because it provides damage, so you could use it as an attack weapon, and you can also use it to chop down wood. So I always have an axe with me instead of a sword. Swords are good, but then if you wanna have a sword, I'd suggest you wait till the end game, because of the attack speed, especially since it becomes better. But right now it's good to have a stone axe handy, because you always have this. It's nice, it's quick. So yeah, I could mine wood too. That's what I would do. Next thing I would do is find food, because your hunger bar is going down and you want food. Some people at this stage would try and make a house, which is a good idea. You could make a house if you wanna, but I would say find food. And where did that cow go? Oh, there's a cow. So to get food, you can get food by either getting hay bales to make bread, or you could kill a cow. And that thing I just did there, when you heard the bone cracking sound, is called a critical. And in Minecraft, when you do a normal hit, if I could find another cow, if you were to do a normal hit with your axe, and you just hit it normally, without jumping, it would do that much damage. And it wouldn't kill it immediately. As you can see, there's a creeper over here. You don't want to... Yeah. So that's a creeper. If anyone's wondering what that was, that's a creeper. So a creeper is a mob that kills itself by exploding. And by doing that also hits you. And as you can see, here's a skeleton. It's trying to kill us as well, but we need to kill it before it kills us. And a skeleton, as you just saw, it shoots arrows at you. And it is kind of annoying because the harder the difficulty, the better their aim is. And you don't like skeletons that give you really good aim and starts killing you. Nighttime is a very scary time for a lot of players. And I would normally suggest you go build a house in the daytime. But some people would instead find sheep, which we should both do. So we're gonna be finding some sheep next. Alright, as you can see, I found some sheep over here. So to kill the sheep in one hit with an axe, you have to crit it. And to critical it, basically what you do is you jump, and while you're falling, you hit the sheep. So I jump while I'm falling, I hit the sheep, and you see those particles, meaning you have successfully killed the sheep. As you can see, I'm out of hunger. I have 3 hunger bars now, and I need food. But first thing I'm gonna do is try and find 3 sheep, because that's very important. If I could find any right now. As you can see, I have successfully found 1 sheep. 2 sheep, actually. I crit the sheep, and now I have 3 wool. And with this 3 wool, I can make something called a bed. So what is a bed? A bed is something you can sleep on when it's nighttime. When you sleep on this bed, it will turn it to daytime. As you can see, now it's day, the weather will clear out. And when you keep this bed down, you will always spawn back to this area. Wherever you die, you will not be spawning back at the world spawn point, but you will spawn right here, right on your bed. So right now I have raw beef. Some people would like to eat raw beef if they have no furnace or they don't have a cooked food. They would just normally eat this, but look what happens when I eat it. When I eat 1 raw beef, it gives me about 1.5 hunger bars. And that's not gonna really refill my hunger now, is it? So what I like to do is I set down 2 furnaces. I get my coal and I do that trick where I divide it into 2. And then I get my raw beef and I divide that into 2. And if there's 1 remaining, I just put in either one. And now it's divided perfectly. So I go into my furnace, I hold shift, put the coal, go into this furnace, hold shift, put the coal. And then I go up to my raw beef. I get 1 of them. I hold shift, put the raw beef, and then go here, hold shift, put the raw beef. And what that does is that it smelts it a little bit faster, so that if one finishes smelting, you can get another also done. So you get 2 at the same time. So it speeds up your smelting. And it's like a quick, and as you can see, if I ate 1, it gave me about 4 hunger bars, and that's really useful. And since I'm low at health, I'll eat this one more time. And now I start healing back on. Some basic survival skills. And at this point, my steak should be done. And since we have some raw mutton, we can divide it into 2 and cook that as well. Well, we use the coal to burn everything. And that's mostly how it works. That's mostly how you get food and replenish yourself. So food is a very neat, it's basically a need to surviving in Minecraft. We can wait for it to eat. There's 2 muttons ready, and we have 4 ready, so it's pretty good. Next thing you can do is set up your inventory if you want to, while waiting for the food to cook. Get more cooked mutton, and now we have some good stuff. You can now mine the furnaces, because we're going to go back to our adventure on how to Minecraft, or how I would Minecraft. At this point, after you set it to daytime, you could now start roaming around, and now your next goal is to find iron, because iron is a good way to protect yourself. So first find the cave system, like what I did right here. So as you can see, there's a zombie. You don't like zombies, right? So we killed the zombie. The zombie dropped something called a rotten flesh. This is a food item as well. You can eat this if you want to. But when you eat a rotten flesh, what happens is that you get a effect called hunger. So let me show you. Because I have that, I get an effect called hunger, which means I get hungrier quickly. So apparently this is not a good cave system, so we can keep roaming around to find another cave system. While trying to find a cave system, this is a thing that's also very important in Minecraft. You call this gravel. So what gravel is important in is that eventually there's a stage in Minecraft where you have to go to a place called the Nether. So here you can get gravel. You can mine as much gravel as you want, or you can just mine one piece of gravel every time, and eventually you're gonna get this item called a flint. This is an important item to the game, but for now you only need one flint, so I'd say get it early in the game, and you can continue with your journey trying to find a cave system. Alright guys, so I was basically trying to find a cave system, and this is what we call an iron ore. These are very important in the early game because it grants you the ability to be able to make tools that are made of iron, or okay, we only got one. That was kind of unlucky, but it gives you the ability to be able to make iron tools or iron weapons and armor as well. So it's really nice to have iron in the early games like here. And you also need something that's called an iron pickaxe, and iron pickaxe are very important to the game because it allows you to mine basically more ores than your normal stone pickaxe could mine, and one of those ores are called the diamond ore, and that's a very rare, well, it used to be very rare, but since because of the new updates, diamonds are really easy to find. Basically we just need an iron pickaxe and a shield. Those are the two important things to get while playing Minecraft: iron and the shield. As you can see, my hunger's down. I'll eat some steak. And since there's cows in the way, I'll quickly use them so I could get some food for the future. And now we have way more raw beef, and we can cook that up later. Right now we have found a total of 4 raw iron. I could show you how to make a shield. Let's stop over here. So first things first, raw iron doesn't really do anything. If you have raw iron, it mostly doesn't grant you anything. You're just able to make this block of raw iron. What you do want is an iron ingot. So to get an iron ingot, you need to smelt the raw iron. So using our trick where we quickly smelt both of these at the same time, we put a coal and iron both at the same time, and we can get it very quickly. As you can see right there, that's an iron ingot. This is a very important thing in the game. In the early games, you have an iron ingot. First things first, if you only found one iron ingot, I recommend making a shield, which looks like this, or you can just click the shield button and you'll get this. Shields are really important because of the fact that basically when you're close to an enemy, you need to be able to block shots or not take damage, because really important that you don't die. So normally if you have the shield here, you can either drag it to your slot, which is over here. Now it's on your left side of the screen, or you can, I think if you hold shift and you click the shield, it will automatically detect that it has to go on this side. Or if you're over here and you're just normally looking at it, you can hover over your shield, and to go across all of these, you can use your scroll button or your number buttons, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, or you can just scroll ahead and you can scroll over to your shield and click, I believe for the default is F. When you click F, you will be able to transfer it to your hand, but I have it set to C. So now since I can equip and unequip the shield if I want to, so now my hand is free. If I hold right click, I could block. If I use my left hand, I can attack. And the reason I have it set to C is because, as you can see how I'm turning my camera views really quickly, and that's called perspective. And for that perspective, I use F, so I could quickly, while running around, I can use F to be able to see further or where I'm going. And it's very useful. And normally the button to change your perspective is your F5, and that's a really annoying key to press if you are kind of running around using your WASD keys. And to change those, you can find it in the keybinds. I can show you guys real quick where it's located. So we're located in the controls, and the keybinds up here. You can change it to whatever you want. And for example, let's say these ones are bound to something. If you want to remove a keybind, you can click on it and click escape. and that's really useful, especially if you don't want anything bound to it. That's how you do it. Back to getting the iron. So now, since we have a total of 3 iron, there are 2 things you can make. So it's either you make an iron pickaxe by making it like this. You can make an iron pickaxe, which everyone would do. And there's another thing you can make. You can also make a bucket, which is useful as well. Or you can make a flint and steel, which is basically like this. This is how you make a flint and steel. So what I would say, I would just recommend making an iron pickaxe in the beginning, just so you have a backup for your stone pickaxe, and it's also faster. But some people would get a flint and steel so they could get food faster, or they would just make a bucket so that they could use it to not take any fall damage. And I'll tell you guys what that means in a bit. But since it's growing nighttime, we can test out this new shield that we have. So let's try and find more iron. And by doing that, we can either find a village, or we can find a cave system again. Alright, as you can see, I've spotted a creeper. So what the shield does is you can go over the creeper, hold right click and face it, and as you can see, it negates all of the damage. Same goes with zombies as well. As you can see, it's not able to hit me, and I can hit it back. I can basically do that. And here you have something called an Enderman. So Endermen are tall, shy, black dudes that you shouldn't look at their eyes, because it's a very, very scary thing to do. Because if you start looking at their eyes, they're gonna start attacking you. So I recommend just don't do that. One thing the Endermans can't do is go to water. They're really scared of water. They can't swim. They could teleport too. So it's really dangerous to be able to look at them. The only way you can look at their face is if you use a pumpkin. And these guys are really important for the later games. So if you want to be able to kill these guys, you can make something called the boat. And these ones are very crazy, because what you can do with the boat is you can trap them. So you place the boat next to the Enderman and they'll be in the sitting position. So this is what happens if I look at them. They get all scary and they're gonna try and kill you. But because they're in the boat, they're unable to teleport. So from here you can basically just be able to kill them. And here we have a lucky drop of an ender pearl. So what is an ender pearl? An ender pearl allows you to teleport to places and allows you to be able to go further distance. For example, here's this open ocean. We want to get to that side, so we can run around. And when you throw an ender pearl standing still, it will go a certain amount of distance. But if you want to throw it further, you can sprint and you can throw it. And if you want to throw it even further, you can start jumping. And the moment you jump, you can let go. So like I jump and I let go, and it throws it even further. So it allows me to teleport. And if I teleport, it takes 2.5 hearts of damage. So you have to keep in mind that it does damage when you do teleport. So make sure not to use it when you're low health. It's a really good item to have. Not only does it is used for teleportation, but you can also use it for an item called an Ender Eye. An Ender Eye is a very important item because that's the key item you need to be able to beat the game. But since we're at nighttime and I'm also low at health, I'll eat this raw mutton and I'll take my bed, place it down, and sleep. And that's why it's very important to have a bed in the early games of Minecraft. I always have this bed just in case. We're still trying to find some iron so we can make our iron armor. Oh, look at this, guys. So here we have come across something called a ravine. Ravines are really nice places because you have a very wide area and you're able to see a lot of things. So there is a chance that you could get diamonds, and I could see right there that there's iron. So we're gonna jump over here and oh, look. As you can see, if you have water, even one block or a pixel of water, it can negate all your fall damage and you're not gonna die really easily. So that's why some people do have water buckets, so that when they do fall down and they hit the ground, they can time it perfectly to put it under their feet so that they can negate all fall damage and live. So as you can see here, there's some iron, but I saw a creeper. If I want to mine with my stone, it's gonna take it'll take a while. But if I mine with my iron pickaxe, and oh, another inventory thing, if I hover over an item and I hit the number buttons, so as you can see, each one of these in my hotbar is corresponding to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I hover over an item, for example, this oak plank, and I want to put it to number 2, or like my second slot here, I hover over it and I just click 2, which would then switch it to my second slot. So I always do that when I want to switch to my iron pickaxe. I don't want to drag everything. I just click 2, just switch, and it mines the blocks way more faster than you would with a stone pickaxe. It's pretty useful to have. And another thing I like showing people is this durability thing. If you were to play Minecraft, there's something called a durability. That's the bottom. You could see it right there. Normally, you don't have that. And to activate that, there are special Minecraft buttons that you should click. One is F3 plus H, and as you can see, it says Advanced Tooltips, and that's the one you're seeing. So if I click F3 plus H again, now you're able to see the durability of each item. Really useful to know. Another thing is your F3 screen, which looks like coding and stuff. But as you can see, your XYZ is on the left side, which is over here. This is your coordinates. So if you die and you had this on by any chance, you're able to see where you died, and you can follow those back here. All these other ones will be explained eventually at another episode if anyone wants to learn about this, but mostly that's the basics of everything. Another thing that there is called F3 plus G, and this one shows the chunk borders. So this is what you call a chunk. A chunk is like this one huge square or area in Minecraft. So if I go to this other side, show me another square of Minecraft. So this is a chunk itself. So basically, if you click F3 plus G, you'll be able to get those. Another thing that you want, if you have this so much things in your chat and you don't want it, you can hold F3 plus D, which would get rid of all of those things. So now it's a free chat again. Another thing that you could have is F3 plus A. If you're lagging a little bit and you're like, oh no, I need to reload my chunks, you can click F3 plus A, which would reload your chunks, and it would probably get rid of whatever bad's happening. So right now we found 9 iron, which is a really good thing to have. We could make, with 9 iron, we could make a flint and steel and a bucket as well. So let's actually start smelting iron. I saw some iron up here as well. Oh, there's more than 2. That's perfect. If you're wondering what these things are copper, and these are pretty useless in the beginning. Don't really need copper. You can do that. You can get 6 immediately. You can use a crafting table, and now here we can make a flint and steel and a bucket. These 2 are really important in the beginning as well, because these ones are pretty much very good if you don't want to be smelting food on the way. Here we can make our first piece of armor, which is a chestplate. And you can also make a helmet if you want to, but mostly all of it's here. You can click and see all the crafting recipes. So here I have 13. I can make myself a chestplate and a helmet. And that's basically, it gives me, and if I, by the way, how I equip that so fast, another inventory thing. You can hover over your item or armor and you can just right click and it would automatically equip them, or you can just hold shift and click and left click them into your thing. But that's mostly how I do it really fast. Here they're cooking my steak, so I have some food ready. Still looking for some iron. Oh, right there. There's one down there. There's a creeper. And then I mine the furnace, I mine this. And now, first things first, I have an empty water bucket. I want to fill this up with water as soon as possible. So I'm going to quickly steal water, jump down, make sure not to die. Oh yeah, since we have coal, we can also make something called a torch. This is really useful. Torches are nice because it lights up the way when you're going somewhere and it prevents mobs from spawning. Mobs like these, where'd the creeper go? But the mobs that are, if I could... He's gone. Yeah, he's gone. I don't know where he is. But mobs spawn when they have a light level less than 7, I think is the new update. I'm not sure if it's light level 7 or 14, but there should be a client light, which you could see. It's over here. It says client light 4. So I think it is if the light is less than 7, then mobs will spawn. So this is what I mean by negating fall damage. It does require a little bit of skill. So you go down, you spam click, and you're able to water bucket clutch before you hit the ground and you don't take any damage. If I want to light this area up, you can light up, but I don't need that. Another thing that's important to have is blocks. So if you do have blocks, I recommend using them. As you can see, there's a zombie over there and there's more iron. I can use this. You can jump over here. Whoop. What I like to do is build down so I could reach these places. So now I could just jump over there and I could mine these. I don't think they're able to. No, they're not. So here, iron. So I'm gonna just mine as much iron as I can. Always a good idea to have more iron. This ore right here, sometimes looks like diamond, but this is called lapis. Lapis is used for enchanting things, and that one will be covered in another episode of How to Minecraft. Right now, what we're trying to do is grab armor. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and that's 4. So now I have 4 iron in the cave, and that's mostly what we want. There's more iron down here, which I will collect for extra. It's always good to have extra iron. I could make myself a new iron axe, and I can also I can make an iron shovel as well, just in case. We're just gonna go back up to the surface, and yeah, I'll see you guys up there. All right, guys. So I found my way back. And another thing I like doing with a water bucket on why it's very useful is because when you want to climb up places you can't jump, you can use your water bucket as a tool to help you be able to climb various things. So like this, I can now climb onto there, and I can go over here, and the surface is up there. So oh no, oh my god, it scared the flip out of me. Where was it? Oh, he was there. Jeez. Oh my gosh. Here he is. So if I want to climb, oh no, it's really high for me. How am I going to be able to climb that? I can use my water bucket. Aim for the highest point. You can use that. You can jump on the water while holding W. You pick it up and you place it upwards. So you pick it up and place it upwards. Climb back up. You pick it up, place it upwards. Climb back up. And here is I'm underneath a block, so I can pick it up and place it on that edge block. Swim outwards, and it's able to get up here. Same with this one. Go up here. Ta-da! So that's how you use a water bucket. Very useful, very nice. All right. So now we're safe. Now we can make the last 2 armor pieces that we need, and we can do that by doing this and by doing this. If it's too much iron, I also found way more iron back then trying to find my way back up to the surface. And as you can see, if 2 furnaces is not enough, you can make 2 more furnaces, which would be then useful to smelt way more things. So you can get your coal, you can divide it into 4, and you can get your iron, also divide it into 4. And now you have your smelting system where you can just smelt things faster. So now give me 4 iron in at least the amount of time it would take to smelt 1. It's a faster way. It saves you a lot of time. It does use your stone, but it saves you a lot of time, and that's mostly the goal. As you can see, I can get 6 iron already. I'm at 8 iron. I can make my leggings. I could also make my boots right now. And as you can see, I can right click while hovering over them. And now I am at full iron armor. Since I have a few extra, I can make some iron tools. I can make more sticks. I can make myself an iron axe and a shovel, which now I can replace my previous stuff. And since I don't need the stone tools anymore, I can just throw them out. The stone pickaxe I'll always keep as 1 stone pickaxe in my inventory for any just in case scenarios this thing breaks and I don't have any iron. So it's really important that you always have it. And normally some people would actually take the coal out, but I'd say nah, just mine the furnace. The coal will just drop anyways. Really useful, it's faster, and if you wanted to go faster, if you see that the iron is done, you could just mine out the iron. Now we have a full stack of iron armor, we have a pickaxe, and we have a shield. And we also have random junk in here. So that's it, guys, for part 1 of How to Minecraft. And if you guys want more of these, make sure to comment down what you want to learn about it. I'll be happy to answer you guys in the next video of How to Minecraft. Alright, guys, have a good day. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and alright, see you guys in the next video.